What's up, you guys? Today we are doing a draft, recap, draft grading on all of the guys in this draft. The Chiefs drafted, just Chiefs. We're going to stick with just Chiefs for now. Maybe later on at the offseason, whenever there's nothing to do, we might go division by division and see how each team did. But for now, we're just doing Chiefs. Quickly, before we get started, I'm going to quickly kind of go through and talk about what's the plan for this offseason. Really, again, I'm not really a huge fan of baseball, not really a huge fan of NBA, so there's not really much to live stream, which is the main thing of my content, is going to be live streams from this channel more than likely. But for right now, we're just waiting for college football and NFL to come back, college basketball, which I will probably be doing a lot of content on as well. Waiting for all that to happen, so probably once this video comes out, which could be anywhere between Monday, May 8th, and that Friday, whatever day that is, like 13th or whatever. So any of those days is a possibility. So yeah, who knows what can go down. I have no idea, but I hope to make a draft grade for NFL wide. That could be a project that could go all summer. I have no idea. And then the UNC football schedule, my predictions for that, which could come out this week. I have no idea. But yeah, so that's my plans for now. But yeah, we're going to quickly jump in, hopefully get this video will not be crazy long because I want people to watch it. And so yeah, we're going to start with Kansas State edge Felix Anudike Uzomah. I always do a double clutch on that middle name. Anudike Uzomah. So he was picked at 31st. I think it's a slight steal. I had some mocks seeing him go top 20. Some seeing him go 25, but to see him at 31 is pretty solid. He is very liked by Kansas City community. He has great speed off the edge, which can be very helpful across from Karlaftis, but Uzomah is not that fast, but his 40 time was not that fast. However, I think that does not matter whenever you have a quick enough first step off the line. Your 40 time quickly goes out the window because you're not traveling 40 yards. And yeah, so also I'm going to go back up to what I said at the beginning. He is very liked by Kansas City. He's a Kansas City kid. He grew up in Kansas City, went to Kansas State. So yeah, everybody likes him. There's not many Kansas City people who are like, I hate this pick. Boo. But yeah. So he has a deep bag of pass rushing moves that can be used to win. However, not the greatest against the run game. He is eager to stay on the edge. He won't cover. So let's say he's going off the edge to attack the guy. Let's say the running back has a hole right where he's supposed to be covering. He sometimes messes up on that, but that's an issue that I trust our defensive coordinator to make. I am blanking on his name. Spags, I think is his name. Spagola, whatever his name is. Maybe he can fix that issue. But yeah, so I personally am okay with this pick. Again, I would have liked a receiver, but we got a receiver in the second, who again, not a huge fan of, but I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the players. I'm okay with the position. I'm not really sure how I feel about the player. SMU receiver Rashee Rice. Mahomes wanted the guy, which is really good since he already knows the guy really well. So yeah, that's a big. It's either green or red for me. I think it's a huge green flag because it's like, yay, a guy that Mahomes wanted, woohoo! But also you got to think back to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who he wanted after the Super Bowl win last time. And we all know how that ended. But yeah, Rashee Rice, one of the bigger receivers in this class. A lot of the receivers in this class that were projected to go ahead of him were guys like Hyatt, Downs, who ended up going below him. Hyatt, Downs, Jordan Addison, they were all short and skinny. And then there was guys like Smith and Jigba, who was tall and skinny. And then there was Quentin Johnson, who was tall and big built. So yeah, we'll see how that fits in. But yeah, he has an insane vertical jump, which is great against the jump ball. He is great after the catch, always looking for the stretch play to stretch the play out as long as possible. That's big. I like that. I like that a lot. I like seeing that. I like hearing that. But he does not have great hands. That is the major thing. So he can go up and grab the ball. He can go up to get the ball. He might just always come down with it. That's a big issue. Which again, that's a receiver room wide issue with Sky Moore, who struggled mightily with punt returns and stuff like that. So yeah, that's not good. But that needs to be fixed as a team. But I think he can be major depth behind Tony and Moore and a couple other guys who don't remember their names, but they were all very helpful. But yeah, so I personally am conflicted about this pick because I think he needs. I think it fills a need, which is good. But I also think that there were three other receivers on the board: Hyatt, Downs, and Tillman were all on the board. You can't see my hands. Hyatt, Downs, and Tillman. I was doing this, but below camera. Hyatt, Downs, and Tillman were still on the board, so I hope that this pick was smart. If not, I'm probably going to be complaining about the fact that Josh Downs could have been a Chief until my death day. But, yeah, anyways, that's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah, I just realized my spelling's terrible sometimes. I'm just, like, typing away. I've misspelled board, like, 7 times on this, on the Google Doc that I'm on, so that's fun. Oklahoma offensive tackle Wanya Morris was the third selection we had. I think it's a great move. Brings in depth of position that we could use, like tackle. There's only like 4 or 5 guys that we had at the tackle spot. They were all guys that I'd never heard of or were unproven. So that was a smart move. He is very athletic, great length, and can be very helpful in run block, which I hope is a thing we use a lot more because of guys like Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon on the roster, who, again, I personally believe they could be a top. They could be one of the best or better running back duos in the league. But anyways, going back to what's his name, Morris, I think he can be a he needs better upper body strength. That's a major issue with him, and he has he has injury history, which is a major red flag for me. A lot of our guys, like offensive line, was a major issue in Super Bowl 56. Wide receivers, we had injury issues. So when I see injury history, I like to go away from that. Like, that's why throughout the draft process, I said get Jackson Smith and Jigba as far away from the Chiefs as possible. I said that. I don't think I ever said it on air, but I was saying it mentally. Get it as far away from anywhere as possible. I said that many times, and I was just hoping he wouldn't fall that far, which I thought was possible, but thankfully he was the first one off the board. Anyways, let's move on to Virginia Tech defensive back Chamari Connor. Very aggressive player. My personal opinion on this pick is that I love the idea of getting depth for a position, like for a secondary that it was already amazing last season. Very similar to Juan Thornhill, but I've heard people have been saying he has higher upside. His aggressive style of play may not move very well to the NFL due to his size. I mean, he would run at you full speed and go pop right at you. At the NFL level, he was very small. I think it was like 190 or something. He was tiny. And I doubt that a corner that small is going to be able to hit a guy like, for example, what's his name? DK Metcalf, and be able to stand back up afterwards. So, for example. And so, yeah, I think he's very solid. But, yeah, I think that's the main red flag for him. Is like his main play was the way he hit receivers. And at the NFL level, you're going to be a very small player. That's going to be difficult to do. But hopefully he can bulk up and keep that play like it was. And, yeah, so the next pick was out of Stephen F. Austin. B.J. Thompson transferred from Baylor, which is, I think, a red flag. I think if you transfer from Baylor down to somewhere else, if you transfer down, like in talent, so if you go from Baylor, which is, it was, Baylor was a very good team this season. I just think that, like, you know, they weren't the best. I think you could have, but anyways, why am I talking about Baylor? I think that you go down from D1 Power 5 to Stephen F. Austin. That's a major drop-off. Anyways, people say he's one of the most athletic edges in this class, which is big. He has very high upside, freak athlete in jumping, but pretty bad in everything else, like bench press, 40. All that stuff wasn't really great, but he needs to gain weight, only 235. I think they said he was 26 coming out of the draft, which is weird, and he's probably not going to be a starter, but he's definitely going to be able to contribute as like special teams, you know, like block and punt and stuff like that. I think he could be very helpful in that regard. Texas defensive tackle Keandre Colburn is up next. Coburn, not Colburn. Versatile player with a quick first step, knows what to do as a pass rusher. However, he had very limited snaps at Texas, and he is not very explosive. Which is, again, I want this guy's going to be probably a rotational guy with Dana and who else is out there? Dana, Chris Jones, a couple other guys who are in that. Derek Nunati, all these guys who could rotate around. I don't know. I like the fact that we're building up defensive depth where we don't have to have the same guys playing every snap. I like the idea. On the secondary, you have like 3 or 4 different guys in each position who I feel comfortable with switching around. But yeah. Now, the last pick that we had was Ball State corner Nick Jones. I literally, I looked up Nick Jones scouting report, and I could not find a thing on him. So, I don't know. Maybe it's because I spelled his name wrong. I don't know. I did spell his name wrong. His name is spelled N-I-C. I spelled it N-I-C-K. But yeah, I could not find much on him. I'm not a huge fan of this pick because a lot of people are like, well, we tend to get 7th round steals. Yes, but I don't see a world where this guy starts over Fenton or Snead. You're not going to, unless Snead or Fenton go down with an injury. But even then, we've got other guys available. So I don't... I would have liked to seen, an offensive lineman here, or heck, a wide receiver. Wide receiver, 7th round receiver. I believe that... I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that Antoine... I just blanked. UNC receiver. Antoine's his first name. I'm blanking on his last name. But yeah, I'm okay with this pick. I just would have liked to see a position that we needed more, because I think overall I grade this draft, I'd say a C, a high C, because I don't think that it fit. I think we definitely needed to go. We need to focus on offense. I think our defense was great last year, but most of our offensive talent left. McCole Hardman, for example, Juju Smith-Schuster, for example. Thankfully, we still have Travis Kelce, but Travis Kelce is going to be the only weapon on this team, similar to last year. We need a guy who can be that weapon. Which, who knows? What's his face can be. Rashee Rice could be that guy. We have no idea. But I grade this draft to C because I think we just did not get enough of what we needed. I think we just kept on boosting things we already had. I think offensive tackle. I think the first 3 picks were picks that we needed. The other were just kind of filler picks, which is usually what it ends up being. But I would have much liked to see another receiver taken. But I'm not going to complain. We're not the Packers. We don't desperately need one. But, yeah. Again, be on the lookout for any kinds of videos that you see, whether that's UNC schedule predictions, whether it's more players whether it's more draft analysis stuff. I'm not sure what it's all going to be, but make sure to stay on the lookout for all kinds of stuff as we're entering that time where a lot of off-season work is going to be done. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this short little video talking about the Chiefs draft. And yeah, see you guys in the next one.